So tell us how you got started in PR and why. Obviously, we were talking about Can and Kid and those kind of things, but why PR? What drew you to that? And,
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I wanted to be a lawyer. I love the idea of changing things in a positive way. I was always highly
like
ambitious.
an Erin Brockovich thing.
Well, yeah. I feel like I've always been ambitious. I've been super lucky that I was naturally intelligent. And I guess both of those things, on top of a certain amount of privilege, can produce the career you want. I was super lucky. I went to a great university, not without hard work, not without struggle, which will probably come on to, but it allowed me to, I guess, pick and choose. And I wanted to be a lawyer. After initial training, I thought, this isn't for me. It's a bit too rigid. It's a bit too academic. Although I could probably change things in 10 years, I can't change things now. I guess I was too impatient. So I took a quick swerve and did a bit of research into communications. How can I change things through words, through written language, etc.? And then came across PR, wrote a long list, A to Z, of the best PR companies in the country, and then rang the first one for an internship and got one.
Wow, that's great.
And actually, I'm still in contact with the first person that I called from that first agency, and I wouldn't let her put the phone down on me. She said, "You were so annoying. I just gave you the internship just to leave me alone." And she'll laugh if she listens to this now. Her name's Kelly. But anyway, long story short, I went in as an intern and never left.
Yeah.
I did 6 months unpaid work experience while waitressing in the evening. I then got paid a small amount and then carried on waitressing for probably another year. But I was then in. Yes. I loved it.
You knew it. And you knew it was for you.
Immediately. Within the first hour, I couldn't get enough. And PR is obviously, people say, what is it? Well, for me, it's making a product, a service, or a person more famous in the right ways. And that's how I'd explain it to my friends, not necessarily how I'd explain it at a conference in the media sector, but in layman's terms, that's how I'd always explain it. So it depends on your speciality. So for me, I went straight into brands, lifestyle brands, beauty, fashion, etc., food, drink. I went straight into celebrity and talent, which I loved. Hence why, I knew Joey Essex really early on, because it was a time of the explosion of reality TV. So that's when I got into it. And then charity, really early on. Loved how you could use a brand or a celebrity to raise awareness of something that desperately needed funds, eyes, and awareness, basically. Anyway, so that's where I started, and that's what I still do today. So I was very fortunate. Almost that first PR company I worked in, I loved that. I love that part of the industry. A lot of people, especially when they go into PR, they don't know what they want to do.
No.
You really need to do some time in a food PR, sport PR, celebrity PR, and choose. Yeah. But for me, I was really lucky. My first one, I loved, and I stuck at it. Yeah.
And obviously it was the right thing. So when did you start your own PR agency, Belle PR? And what does Belle PR represent?
Yeah, so I worked at that first agency for a couple of years. Then I worked for another agency, very similar, lifestyle and talent and charity, with two amazing men, Nick Heed and Nick Fulford. I worked there for a couple of years as consumer director, loved it. And then after a couple of years there, I set up Belle PR. That was 8 years ago now. Can't believe it. It feels like it was 8 minutes ago. And we represent talent, we represent brands, and we represent charity. Now, they're the three main pillars, if you like, but offshoots of that, we have partnered with a digital marketing agency, because that's a huge part of PR now. We have partnered with a literary agency for books. So people come to us saying, we want to write a book. And I said, I've got the right people for you. So we've got offshoots of our specialities, but those three pillars are what we do and what we do really well.